I wanted to make a video on how to hook up your sewer hose and how to disconnect it when you're done camping. A lot of people have trouble with this, even veterans I see make mistakes. I make mistakes, so let's talk about how I do it, and hopefully it will work for you. First thing you want to do is put on some gloves. You want to wear gloves. You're dealing with a lot of pathogens when you're dealing with sewer, and you don't want those to go into little cuts in your hands or in your cuticles or something like that. It will cause you to get a bad infection, staph infection. So make sure you wear the proper protective gear. Some people even recommend wearing some eye protection. That would not hurt. I'd recommend doing it if you got it. First thing you want to do is identify where your tanks are. On my little Scamp, the sewage holding tank is up front, and the wastewater, which is your gray water, is in the rear. So wastewater is all the stuff that goes into your sink, into your shower. And sewage is all the stuff that goes into your toilet. So we call this gray water. We call the stuff that goes in the toilet black water. Both are dirty, but the gray water is less dirty than the black water for sure. So what you really want to start with is your sewage holding tank. Some people arrive at a campsite, they're going to hook up their hose to their sewage tank, they're going to open the valve, and they're going to let it drain as they use the toilet. That's not the way to do it. The problem with that is every time you put liquid in the toilet, it goes down, but usually the solids remain. And over time, the solids pile up inside your tank. There's no fluids to wash them away, so you end up with a poop pyramid. I recommend keeping your sewage holding tank closed until it is full. That way, when you open it, the liquids carry the solids down the tube with it and gives you a much better clean out. So how do we do that? We are going to connect the sewer hose. The way Scamp did it is they put the sewage hose facing the rear of the vehicle, and it's hard to get to, and it's also hard to make a video on. So we're going to demonstrate how to hook everything up on the gray water tank, but keep in mind that I recommend that you hook up everything to your sewage tank first and then empty your gray water tank. Now, some people like to keep their gray water tank always open, thinking, hey, it's just going to be a bunch of liquid anyways, nothing really solid except maybe some food particles, so let that all go down the drain. That's true, but if you want to use your gray water to clean out the hose when you're finished, you need to have some gray water in there. So at least a few days before you're finished camping, close the valve if you want to keep it open normally. Or just keep it closed until you're ready to drain it. That's the easiest way, I think. So let's talk about how to hook this thing up. We're just going to hook up one hose at a time. This is the hose that I bought at Walmart. It is something you've probably seen before. It's very common. I forget the name brand of it. They're not paying me to market it, so we'll let you figure out the one you like. But most of them have two different ends. One end has these slots, and the other end has these, these like little nubs that stick out. So we call this the male part, and we call this the female part. On your, I guess your trailer, the first thing you want to do is make sure this is completely closed, that it didn't come out a little bit, and then you want to take off your cap. Now, depending on how well of a job you did last time, or if anybody has opened this in the meantime, you may or may not have liquid behind this. So open it, being aware that some stuff may come out. I would recommend having something below it to catch. I know from doing this video previously that there's nothing in here, so I'm going to go ahead and take mine off without a catch basin. So we'll just go ahead and rotate this counterclockwise and take it off. Get it on out of the way. What you want to do now is hook up the female end of your hose to the male end of your discharge pipe. Our little set, and I guess there's the name of it, Amco Free Plug, has these little caps that come with it, and I like that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get the cap off without using both hands because it rotates when I turn it. So let me just take it off real quick. Okay, I was able to get that off. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach this by lining up the holes and then rotating it into position so that the little nubs go as far as they can, and now it should be sealed on there. The next thing I want to do is connect this end to my 90-degree bend, which is this part. This is the part that's going to go into the ground right here, and this is the part that's going to hook onto the hose. Again, off camera, I'll have to connect these two. Okay, they're connected, and we're just going to simulate putting this into the ground. Sometimes the pipe coming out of the ground at the campsite is threaded, and you can use these different tiered threads to get in there. I recommend not making it too tight because sometimes they're really hard to get out. So if you do decide to do it, don't torque it down much. But you want to go ahead and place this in the hole. You're going to be left with either a lot of extra pipe or not enough. If I say pipe, I mean hose. So if you don't have enough hose, you can connect another hose to the end of this one to make it longer. But keep in mind, these hoses also telescope, so they can become quite long. I would say that's probably about 10 feet right there. So if you want to telescope it all the way out, that's how it would look, and you would be going into the hole. If not, you can shorten it by just bunching it together and collapsing it. It's pretty intuitive. One thing you want to make sure you have is try to make it so that you go from a high point to a low point, because liquid is going to be pulled by gravity, and you don't want to have a place where it's maybe sticking up over a rock or over some type of object, because if you do have a place, everything is going to back up behind that high point in your hose. So try to either have the hose level or have it at a downward angle. They sell these little things that look like kind of like a trellis under a railroad bridge that you can set up to support it. If you want to buy one of those, great, maybe that'll help. So let's just simulate that we have attached this, not to the gray water like it is in the video, but we've actually attached it to the sewage holding tank. Okay, so for the purposes of this video, we are at the sewage holding tank, your black water tank. Now, you make sure that's in the ground. If you need to put something on top of it, like a rock or a sandbag or something to hold it down, do it. You don't want that coming out of the hole. And when you're ready, you want to open this gate. And when you do, the sewage is going to be pulled from the tank, down the hose, and into your drain point. When it is all done, when nothing is left going, I recommend going into your bathroom and flushing the toilet and letting clean water push down this hose, just to help get any little things that might be maybe caught around the edge of this, whatever, any debris. Just have it pushed with water. Just let a helper, your wife, whoever you're camping with, push that toilet down, flush handle down, so water is going into the toilet bowl and is going into your black water tank and flushes everything out. Do that for maybe a minute. After that's done, push this valve in and close this gate valve. They call it a gate valve because when you push this in, a little gate closes the pipe. When you're finished, you want to take this off. You're going to probably have some dripping, but if you flushed it with clean water, it's not as bad as it could have been. So again, putting a little catch pan underneath that, you want to open this up and keep it up. You don't want to lay it down because water will go in the direction of the lowest point. So if this is the highest point, the fluids won't come out. And then, for the purposes of this video, you want to take and hook it up to your gray water tank. So now we've taken it from the black water tank in this, for the purposes of this video, and now we're hooking it up to the gray water tank. And you want to go ahead and open up your gate and let that gray water now flush all that black water debris through this. Your gray water tank is likely larger than your black water tank, so it's going to be a lot of fluid. When it's done, again, have your wife or whoever you're camping with go ahead and turn on the faucet and let clean water run into your gray water tank and help rinse out all the debris as much as you can. And then when it's finished, you want to push this in and close it. And then you want to disconnect your hose. Your hose will be pretty much clean at that time. There will be some liquid in there, obviously, but it's better to have gray water liquid from your sink and your shower than it is to have black water from your toilet in there. When that's all done, you want to go ahead and collapse the hose so that it's completely closed up. I'll go ahead and do that off camera. Now, as you're collapsing your hose, again, keep the inlet side elevated, and as you're collapsing it, it'll help push all remaining liquid towards that 90-degree elbow, which is still in the hole that goes to sewer. You've left that in there, and you want to just kind of hold it up and get as much of that liquid out as possible. When that's done, you want to go ahead and disconnect the 90-degree elbow from the hose. Now that you've disconnected the 90-degree elbow, you can go ahead and put your caps back on your hose. It's a good thing to put on your caps because that helps keep any liquid from falling out while it's in storage. So let me go ahead and put those on. Okay, we got our caps on. We can go ahead and return these to the storage box. Now what I like to do is leave my caps off for a little while. Here's why. I want that outlet discharge area to dry out as much as possible, because the next time I go to take that cap off, I don't want anything falling out. I want it to be dry. So I leave these off while I get the rest of the camper ready to travel. You know, I'm lifting my jacks, I'm picking up my chocks, or whatever. However, if you're at like a drain point, maybe you're at the place where you empty your tanks at a remote site, you're not going to have time to sit there for very long, and you're just going to have to clean them out. It's a great idea just to have a paper towel with you, and just use that paper towel to clean out the insides of the hole and clean off the seal that's on the inside of the cap. You see there's a little rubber gasket in there. You want to make sure that's clean, because if it's not, if it's got a little rock or something on there, it's not going to seal properly. But once you're all done, you want to go ahead and stick that on there and lock it. After that, I would recommend you take your 90-degree elbow to some type of a water source and give it a rinse. You're just trying to rinse out the outside, the inside, kind of get it clean, and then shake it clean, or shake it dry. And if you can leave it out to dry, perfect. It's better to put away completely dry, and then pop that back in your storage container, and you are pretty much done. Make sure you throw away your gloves and give yourself a good hand washing, all your upper arms, anything that might have gotten touched while you're at it. Hope this video helps explain a pretty good way to empty your tanks, and to do so in a sanitary way. Thank you for watching.